Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space where we discuss everything relationship and love. And I'm your host, Franca. Tonight on the show with me is Sheyi. Why are you frowning? Sheyi, you listen on me.
Namaste.
Namaste. And Sajo, Barrister Joe. Sajo, can I see your face?
My face.
Make I see your face now. You never tell when you see me. What's
Are
soon?
you not see my face?
I cannot see your face. What's soon? What's happening?
But I can see your face. I can see my face and I can see your face.
Sajo, how far?
Can you see my face now?
I can see you. Handsome man.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Sajo, how far? How the
think,
go they go?
well, thank God we're good.
Any wahala since?
Well, not really.
Okay. Sajo, we want open police station.
Yeah.
Police shop.
You say na police station you want open. That's the I like trouble. I like trouble reach.
I like trouble now. I've been at you at the lane for.
Is there somebody else? Shay, do you agree?
We all know, like,
You all know who likes trouble. That can be me. Okay, so tonight on the show, we're discussing the danger of gaslighting in relationships. This gaslighting matter needs to be addressed.
Listen,
Sajo, what did you say? Okay, I don't think Sajo is talking to us. So, like the danger of gaslighting in relationship, it's very important to understand. I think we need to understand what gaslighting is, and then address how people gaslight, because people don't even know that they are gaslighting, or they're actually, they don't know when they are gaslighting or when people are being gaslighted. I don't think people understand what that is. You agree?
yeah.
Okay. Sajo, have we lost him? Sajo, have we lost you?
no, I'm here.
Okay. Sajo,
Yeah?
because you say gender, you said that gender, they're always piling things up, they're putting things. So, but now I want you to address gaslighting. Who gaslights in relationship? Is it the male or female gender?
When we're discussing gaslighting, there's only one gender that we would be referring to,
And
and that
that's,
would be the one. That would be the one you represent.
do women gaslight in relationships?
More than men, yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, when a man is gaslighting, we will say his act.
Who will say he's what? Sajo, don't say the one that will make us quarrel this night. So it good as your network hang. Shay, you think women gaslight more than men?
Honestly, I don't know the statistics.
Okay, but do you think, because I would just naturally have said that men gaslight more than women.
But women nag more than men.
Yes. So nagging is different from gaslighting. I don't think that you tell a woman that she's doing something, and then instead of addressing it, she begins to go around it. I think men do that more. Or you don't think so?
I think men do it more too. To be honest, I didn't know the statistics. I would like to listen more to my learned colleague and see what.
No,
where
but
he's
you
coming
tell
from.
us so, but you
But
tell us
personally,
how.
I think men do a lot more gaslighting
Okay.
than women
Okay.
in relationship. I think men are the ones that number one almost never admit to being wrong
Okay.
and weave around it. Like before you say man give you a straight answer, say my, especially to women. I think partly it's because when your wife or spouse comes at you, right? You most times you don't. There's a word I'm trying to look for. You don't want to admit that she's right or that she's getting what she's saying right. So the best form of defense is to, you know, weave around the answer, not give the direct answer. But because you also don't want the woman to be in a position of, yes, I said it, I was right. This is what you did, this is what you did, this is what you did, you know? So we tend to kind of move away and not address the issue straight up and find ways to return or redirect the, you know, accusations or questions or, you know, confrontations back to the woman instead of actually owning up, because your gender, or also, we've also had this conversation, um, they tend not to let it go. So if you ever find yourself in a position, or most times when men find themselves in a position to accept, they know that it's never going to go. So they find a way to
Shay,
turn it
see,
around and
Shay,
take it
don't
back.
give a reason why they gaslight. Do they gaslight? Yes. Whatever reason, just keep it inside your pocket. Do you understand? Do not give an excuse why people gaslight. Leave it, because you can't generalize and say that all women don't forget. No. Don't gaslight. That's the
Okay,
major.
so we
Don't
can't also
gaslight.
generalize that all men gaslight.
Okay, no, but men never agree to something, and you have said it's because women don't forget. Because I don't understand it. They don't forget. You people keep talking about.
Do you
Sajo,
forget?
I do.
Yeah.
Please, do we have Sajo? Because he's the one. Sajo, please, can you unmute yourself? Okay. So Shay, I don't understand. So, when you mean do you forget, do men forget?
But we are easier to let things go
You
than
don't
women.
let things go. Shay,
We are
so
simple creatures.
no, Shay, don't say
Very
that.
simple
Because no, don't
creatures.
say that. Because you guys continue to make it look as if the things you guys do, if you if you if you if you just maybe if you correct your wife in a nice way, she won't hold it against you. Do you understand? If you speak to her, maybe you have an argument and then you just have a little bit of friction, and then you resolve it amicably, she will not. Do you understand? She will not get angry. But you guys, a man will cheat.
Why we always
No,
use
because
cheating?
those are the things that are really major that you say women don't forget. Those are the major things.
No, I don't
Sheyi,
think.
no.
I don't
Listen.
think it's mainly
Sheyi,
cheating.
wait. I want to talk about the major things. Sheyi, if a woman cheats on a man, will the man forget?
Most likely not.
Okay. If a woman slaps a man, will the man forget?
Never.
So what are you talking about? So when you say women don't forget things, what
Okay,
exactly are
maybe
you
we
talking
don't
about?
forget, but we don't bring it up as the slightest excuse.
But
we
you
don't.
act on it.
We don't always go back and forth on the same subject matter and be like, yeah, 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 you did it, you did it. We might not forget, right? But we don't go
I like
on
the
and on.
aspect of that.
Well, we don't go on and on and on
I don't
and
know why
on
your
about.
network came back at that time.
We don't go on and on and on about it. I mean, at the slightest provocation, you don't bring that thing particular, even though you've not forgotten. But that is not generally in the nature
Shay,
of
I've
men.
seen men that nag.
That is one. Obviously, there are always going to be examples.
You just say you don't. You just say you don't have the numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
please don't have the numbers now.
No. That's not the way to go about this. They are definitely both sides. There are both arguments on both sides of the divide.
Okay.
The statistics will tend more to one side than not. But that is
Okay.
not to say that everybody does it or everybody does not do
Okay,
it.
no problem. Sajo, please, gaslighting. Do men or women gaslight more? And how does it affect the relationship?
Sajo, she's ready for fight too. So just before you
No,
came back.
she's the one person I would love to fight with this night. She knows that we're not a fair fight. But if you want to give a very fair uh, position with respect to gaslighting, it's not really gender related.
Thank you.
Now, we must understand the core attributes of gaslighting. That's why it's easier for us to quickly say, oh, it's easier for women to gaslight because men are more forceful, in their approach to wrongdoing or willingness to take responsibility, while women are more likely to be manipulative. And gaslighting is all about manipulation. You can be manipulated to a point where you even question your own sanity. You know, I also understand your position, Madam Franca, that some men would gaslight. Yes. And when they gaslight, it's not something that you can easily discuss in a committee of men that I did X, Y, Z. The men they will look at you as, oh, is this guy normal? I mean, what exactly is he saying? So, whilst we understand that some men do gaslight, it is safer to categorize it as men who behave like a particular gender. Just the way you were saying men nag. I mean, if you pick up that word nagging and someone says my wife nags, you're like, okay, but she's a woman. But if someone says to you my husband nag, you're like, whoa, why is he behaving like a woman? You won't make excuses for him that, okay, but it's a woman, that's the only way they can express themselves. Considering the amount of words that they have to speak within a day, it's only normal for them to keep pouring it out so that they will not be in a deficit, or so that they will not carry over the is it 10,000 words a day now to the next day, and
15,000.
then they're having ahead,
15,000
then they're having to deal with 21,000 or 25,000.
by
So
the next
we can
day.
understand that. Yes, we can understand that. You see, uh, the whole essence, I mean, the reason we are here discussing gaslighting is for us to emphasize the danger, whether it's coming from the man or the woman. Because I've seen situations where a party has gaslighted her partner to the point where the man had to seek medical attention. As a matter of fact, at the point his mental state was being evaluated, whether he's the one in the wrong. Because whenever we're together, he keeps saying this, oh, uh, what do you guys think of me? Do you think I'm normal? Do you think I am, you know? And that's at the point I asked him why he was always making those references. And he said it appears that he's the only one seeing some things within his household. And whenever he raised those issues, his wife's response is, you didn't see anything, you didn't hear anything. Maybe it's your mind, you're losing your mind again. So people could actually force you into the realm of questioning your sanity
Okay.
with gaslighting. And that for me is the danger of gaslighting.
Yeah. So so in all honesty, I think that there are levels to this gaslighting thing, because it's not always about, like Shay said, it's not always. Let's not make it about cheating or anything. You understand? But not being accountable, and then because you know something is wrong, and somebody is pointing at that particular thing to say, this is not right. That is right to you doesn't mean it has to be right to everybody. Do you get me? So if, as couples, you're doing something and I'm telling you, this thing you're doing, it's a problem for me. Is it that people don't address, because sometimes, maybe it's the way I'm addressing that issue that makes you feel that it's about me. Because I'm a presentation, because I'm trying to understand why, how this whole, because no, but Sajo, I think gaslighting is intentional. People do it intentionally, because how can you not understand where someone is coming from when you actually know that if I do that same thing to you, you can't take it?
So I think a lot of people that gaslight don't even realize that they're doing it.
You think so?
Because, I think behind every human nature is the ability to shift blame and never accept responsibility for actions. You see it everywhere. I think it is more natural to not accept responsibility than to accept it. Now, the people that accept responsibility and take responsibility for their actions and say, yes, I did this, I did that, I was the one that was wrong, you know, they are the ones who have overcome that first instinct to come at you and say, why? No be me. You know, I didn't do it. This is not you. Remember, you are the one that made me do it. Remember when you did this and did this and did this to me. That's the easier route to go than to actually sit down and say, yes, I did this. I messed up. You know, this is what led me to do this. This was, I was supposed to make this decision like this, but I didn't make it. I made the wrong decision. I feel like those are extraordinary people. Because even as a small child that, where do they pick it up from? The first instinct is to say,
It's
no,
no.
exactly. Mommy, it's not me. Oh. Mommy, it's not me. Maybe it's when you were
So
walking.
is it fear? So initially, is it fear? So can you say? I don't want to say it's about fear because, or being so it's about being accountable.
Yeah.
It's accountability.
And it takes a lot of work on yourself.
Yeah, on yourself. But again, I have also noticed that a lot of people associate gaslighting to a narcissistic behavior. Sergio, do you agree? I think we've lost Sergio again.
Me too.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
You will not lose me. Don't worry.
Okay. So is it every narcissist?
I think it is narcissistic.
Okay.
You see, it is one thing to not to take up responsibility. It becomes gaslighting when you want to subsume or you want to replace reality with your idea of what the reality is. I give you an instance. Maybe we were walking down a path and someone walks up to you as my spouse and taps you, and then I look, or like the Nastasia Akpoti's narrative that allegedly Mr. Senate President was dragging her somewhere, and the husband said, "What was that conversation between you and Mr. Senate President?" And she said to her husband, "Oh, nothing. It was nothing." And the husband insisted, "No, I feel something was going on there." And she went on to say, "Don't you trust me? Will I lie to you?" If that conversation had gone on, she would have replaced falsehood with the reality of events that happened that day at the Senate President's house. And they insist that the man must have been deluded or had lost his mind, that what he saw happen did not happen. So it is beyond not taking responsibility. It becomes dangerous when you are imposing falsehood or replacing reality or truth with falsehood and insisting on that being the real position of things. So
I think,
if that is not being a narcissist, then I'm not sure there's a better definition anywhere.
okay, but
So
it even gets...
I'm coming, Madam President. It is progression. You move from not taking responsibility to imposing falsehood on your partner, to questioning your partner's sanity, to using that as a psychological tool to demean him and abuse him in the relationship. And then when it gets to a point of overreacting with respect to what he knows as the truth or what he sees as the truth, you keep reminding him, you know that you have started again. This thing does start again. You're always shouting. You are the reason he or she is shouting. But once you trigger her and she starts raising her voice, your next is that, I said it now. Any small thing I do, you
Small thing, you start shouting.
Not addressing the reason she's shouting. So those are...
I think it even gets...
narcissism.
Yeah, I think it even gets worse when you even start to punish the person for something that you know is not true. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
That's the real narcissistic attitude. Now, you know there's an issue. You know that this person knows exactly what happened, but just to drive down a narrative, you have told yourself a lie. So, is it that, Sajo, is it that they actually have told themselves a lie, or they're actually pretending? Because I don't want to believe that they are pretending.
You know, there's a way you lie to yourself and
You start believing your lie. Sajo, is it
you
possible
make sure
that
every other person around
believes that lie? But then when you sit down, don't you tell yourself the truth?
It will not be gaslighting if
you believe it.
assume it to be true. Right? One of the ingredients of gaslighting is intention to manipulate. So you know what the truth is, but you want to change the narrative with the sole intention to question the psycho-emotional stability of the person you are dealing with, and then manipulate him into believing falsely.
Sajo, I agree with you, but do you know that in the bid to manipulate, they take it so far that they now even start to act as, you know, when you're acting, because the truth is, no, I don't want to say as a human being or as a normal person. When you know that you are doing something wrong, your conscience, you have a conscience. Your conscience is telling you, this thing I'm doing, is it right? So at least it would even guide you in the way you behave. But guess what? You see this person, there's no conscience. This person is hitting on so many, doing a lot of things. And you sit down, you're thinking, am I mad? This thing this person is doing is wrong. This person knows it's wrong, him or her. They know it's wrong. But they are acting as if they're in the right.
How do you know they know it's wrong or right?
Then how do you know it's gaslighting? Do you understand my point? Okay, so for like the example he gave now for Natasha, she knew that guy was trying to make a pass at her. The husband cited it.
Allegedly.
Whatever. Okay, so let me not use that. Let me use something else. Now, Sheyi, you have a spouse, you understand, you're in a relationship, and then you identify something that your spouse has done. You have proof that this person has done this thing. Do you understand? But the person is denying that they didn't do it. You're asking, and then he's acting like you are mad for saying it. You continue to accuse me. You continue to say I'm this. Meanwhile, I'm just a quiet person. They're driving down a narrative that even in your quiet time, Sheyi, if you didn't have proof, if na say you're not sure, you doubt yourself, but you're holding on because you have proof. So imagine if you did not have proof. Is that not? So is that person believing their lie or not?
Well, I think.
Would you say that person is so bent on covering a lie? That's why the person is going to the extreme, not thinking of, if I push this thing further, what would this person do? Because there's always a reaction.
So, I mean, I think it also stems from the fact that the primary reaction is fear. Fear that if I accept the accusation, or if I accept my wrongdoing, right, the repercussion of it, what will come out of it will be it will not be to my own advantage. It's always about the advantage of person.
So, but really,
So they would rather not be the one to take up that. Basically, it's just evil.
No, but Shay, you don't get my point. Whether you accept or not, what you are doing now is going to create more damage.
If it might not.
Why?
It creates more damage to the person, but not to me.
No, because you say you're afraid that the person will react.
Yeah, it's self-preservation.
You are not accepting. Why?
Because you don't want the repercussion of it to be on you.
What's the repercussion?
Maybe they'll start shouting on you. Maybe, you'll be questioned at every decision you make, every actions you want to take.
Okay, fine.
Maybe you don't want that kind of pressure.
No problem.
So you rather reverse it.
Good. And now you are doing something to someone. Do you know what that thing is doing to the person?
That's
The
what I'm
person is going
saying.
to question. Wait, Sheyi. The person will question you if you accept. But the person will hate you for damaging her or him.
That's if she eventually gets to the point of that.
You don't, Sheyi, it gets there. Don't you understand? Or Sajo, what do you think? It gets there. After a while, it becomes hatred. When you continue to do it consistently. Sajo, you were saying something, please.
Now, there's an old boys' rule. It's as old as time that never admits. I think it was Shaggy
It wasn't me.
that that gave that secret code out to the world to know that that's an old boys' rule. It wasn't me, right? Now that is on the one part, particularly when it relates to cheating. The code of the good old days that deny until you go down the grave, because if you admit, it would always be used against you. Because of course you are dealing with a set of persons who do not forgive or who do not easily forgive. However, I was trying to tell you, discuss the progressional nature of this gaslighting thing. Let's say, let's use the analogy that Madam Franca was putting out, that Mr. A husband does something wrong, and Mrs. B wife know that I've got this man red-handed. Applying the old rule could be, you know what, I'll never admit it. In words. But I will ensure that I do every act to try
Pacify
and
the situation.
without expressly admitting,
Thank you.
try and sort the issues out.
Thank
I
you.
could, in that state, suggest that let's try a vacation. Let's try a trip out there, or let's go shopping for you. Or then once you are caught, you now become a house husband. You're always at home, doing the good boy thing.
Good.
That is one who applies the rules with respect to
Thank you.
one his partner, and more importantly, what they share.
Thank you.
Because whether you like it or not, there's only how far you can gaslight. You can keep doing this to the point the person becomes numb to it. And then he or she gets to the point where your words no longer have value, which is the most dangerous place to be in a marriage or in a relationship.
Thank you.
Where you cannot say to your partner, I am talking to you and I give you my words, and the person will give you your words. Yeah. Do you have words? So if you get to that point of, I understand that the what propels or what ignites the old boys rule is fear, as Sheyi put it. Fear of the repercussion, fear of the pushback, fear of what will come with admitting. And that is also coming from childhood, how we were forced to, children not to, as a good child. Children like Sheyi and Franca were forced to deny things because we were scared that they would be flogged or punished. I was always admitting every wrong I
Thank
did.
God I know myself.
So the thing is that you can play in that space of fear. You can play in that realm of, oh, I did not admit it because I was scared of what would come, which of course is also irresponsible. But if you move it further to the point of disrespecting your spouse and what you share, whether it be marriage or relationship, that is where it becomes very dangerous. Because now you're questioning the person's capacity to evaluate events. You're questioning the person's sanity to know what is wrong and right. You're questioning everything about the person. And then when the person gets to a point where he or she has now arrived to the decision that, okay, no, there's nothing wrong with me. The only person everything will be wrong with will be you. And once he or she realizes that everything is wrong with you, there's nothing you can do to the person. He or she is numb. And then that is when your relationship starts nosediving.
So, Sergio, what do you mean by your relationship starts to
Nosedive.
nosedive? Yes.
Yes, your relationship will regressionally die. Now, some people, some people are in marriage but not married. Some people are just coexisting or cohabiting within a space, and they bear the name husband and wife. But there's really nothing about them anymore. They can't walk up to their husband and say, "Oh, my husband said this, and this is it. My husband cannot lie to me. Whatever, when for this particular thing, I will go down with my husband on this issue." I'll give you an instance. We had a matter, and then a client was arrested, and the wife ran to us. "Oh, your client has been arrested." I said, "Okay, do you want us to go to the station?" She said, "Oh yeah, she will go with us." We got to the station, and the DPO said they should bring the wife in. There was the area command, the area F, bring the wife in, and they were talking. And the DPO asked the wife, "Can you vouch for your husband on this? Can you say your husband did not take this money? Can you say what your husband has just said to us here is the truth?" The wife looked at me, looked at the husband, looked at the DPO, and said, "Please, can I talk with my lawyer?"
Eh?
She has expressly said no to that question.
Yes.
So when we went out, she was like, "You know, say your client will they lie." Go ask her because I don't feel put myself for trouble. How bad can it get?
That's bad. So, because I think that in every relationship, you should know first, like, Sergio, you're my friend. She is my friend. I cannot categorically say I know this person, you understand, but I can vouch, you understand, for some things. And I expect that should be the same thing for husband and wife. Do you understand? Yes, you fit get man, you fit get husband where they useless, say they womanize. But it doesn't mean that person is not trustworthy, or do you understand? Or the person that they dupe people and all that. So I think that that woman knows her husband, they cheat people. She knows that that's what her husband. So it's not about just lying. Because it's one thing to lie to me on things, domestic issues. Do you understand? But taking it far to lie outside, it's something else. You know? But it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I just saying now. That eventually, when you gaslight to a certain level, it will affect every other area.
Yes, because and they don't. And you see, the thing
it will affect every other area.
But Sergio, the problem is, like, again, I don't want to make it a gender thing. Whoever is a narcissist in a relationship, whoever is gaslighting, would still expect you to understand. How is that possible?
You're not getting the reason lies or irresponsibility becomes gaslighting is that word, manipulation.
Okay.
Yes, that is one thing that should always play in your head every minute when you're discussing gaslighting, because the whole essence is so that they will manipulate you, and the goal of manipulating you so that you will never return to one who has the capacity to independently evaluate issues. So the core is with the manipulation.
They don't want you because as couples, There are points where there are times when you need your spouse to be intelligent. Do you understand? You need her to be, or him, to be forthcoming. And then if you now want that person not to be sure of their own evaluation, then those times when you guys need to have those kind of conversations, what happens?
Nobody's thinking about that far.
Because Sergio, are you there? Nobody's thinking about it that far.
It's just a get-out card of.
It's just a get-out card at that point in time.
Exactly.
And sometimes when it's prolonged, they get confused and don't know how to manage it. That's what I think. But again, Sergio, I think we've lost Sergio.
But then again, let's not make excuse because they are really bad people. They are really bad men. They're really bad women. That,
No, but
their
so
aim
I don't want
is
to
to dominate you.
Yes.
And control you. So some people are actually that deep. Do you understand? Some people think that far. That if I hold this one. Some people actually go into marriage because
they think they can manipulate
you.
They
want somebody that they can manipulate and dominate. They want somebody who is like a puppet that cannot have a say or stand up on their own to give opinions, to give. Some people actually, I know people who actually say, see, I go rather go village, go find gay, we no go talk to me anyhow, we no go, we no go feel stand up to me, we no go feel question what I do. Some people actually go for that. They try to find people they can subdue. So, in as much as the majority of people are just trying to get out of a present situation, they don't want to take responsibility. You just say, you catch me for there. Did you see me? Did you hold me? The person that saw me, they bring all those things to put doubts. And that's just on the surface level. But some are actually deeper than that. Some want to take dominion, control you, control the narrative that you think you have. So there are some people like that.
Okay, so let's quickly go on a break. When we come back, I have a few questions I would need to ask Shay to address because, because I don't understand how someone just gets up and says, you know what, I want somebody that I would dominate.
Oh yes.
That means that means you have a problem.
Oh yes, that's of course.
There's a problem with you as a person.
Of course.
It doesn't make any sense. Let's go on a break.
Heartlines would be right back.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
This season on Heartlines, we're committed to making a difference in people's lives. So Heartlines, in partnership with Reda Consult, is offering 12 free slots of counseling every quarter for people in need of professional counseling. Additionally, we're taking on 2 pro bono cases for individuals navigating a challenging divorce. To participate, please send an email to counsel@vedaconsult.com with your story. Our team will carefully review all submissions and will contact all the shortlisted candidates. Heartlines is live Mondays to Fridays at 10 p.m. So engage with us.
Thanks for staying with us on Heartlines.
Okay, please note that you can share your story via our WhatsApp number 08190384663 or call in to join the conversation on 07025007749 or 07014242420 and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Do we have Sajo back? Is Sajo with us? I think we don't. Okay. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, so Shay, before we went on the break, you mentioned something. You said that people intentionally go to the village to go and marry a girl.
Let's not even go that far, right? Apart from the rhetorics and the general conception about, I don't want to marry my mates, why do men go for younger ladies?
What do you mean younger?
People that are not at their maybe social level or not at their, age group. Why?
Okay, so I don't know. I think people have different reasons why they do that.
It's control.
Is it
majorly
control?
Control. It's majorly control. Think about it.
No, because you know why I say that? Women do not even want to be with their mates.
Yeah, I understand. Let's forget women.
So women do not want to be with their mates. Because, like, Shay, you don't get my point. Why we're saying this? Because gaslighting, manipulation is not a one-gender thing. So you would also see women who are younger.
But want somebody older.
And they manipulate them as well. So my point is, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I don't want to make it about that because I know a lot of people get married to say, marry somebody who is younger because when you get old and you want your wife to look young, that is one reason. And women get married to older men because they feel that the men who are around their age, are not matured enough to manage them. So people do things for different reasons. The truth is, as much as I know there's manipulation in some of those relationships, not all. Because there are also situations where older women marry younger men. I know the relationship where the men are younger than their wives, maybe with 2 years, 3 years,
I've seen 10 years.
You've seen 10 years. And it's working.
Yeah.
So it's relative. So I don't want to make it about... I don't want to make it about maybe they're trying to dominate the person because you get into the relationship, people change. That young girl,
she go mature.
She go mature. She go grow wings over time. And maybe that's when you see them, they now start saying, oh, you don't change, you don't do this, you don't do that.
We see it a lot now. It plays out.
Yeah, it plays out.
Lot, yeah.
But now, those dangers in manipulation and gaslighting, most times it leads to divorce.
Most times. Because at some point, there's just so far how you can push. They say if you push a goat to the wall, and eventually when he sees that there's no way, he starts, he'll come back at you. It's the same thing for gaslighting. You gaslight. Eventually, at some point, the person you're gaslighting might snap out of it and be like, I'm not that stupid. And usually, for victims, when it has gotten to a certain level, then they are not even reasoning again. Even when it's hard to come back from. When you've now changed your ways and you now decide that, okay, I want to start saying the truth, I want to start taking responsibility for my actions, the person has mentally left that place.
No, is it that the person has mentally left or the person still doesn't trust the person?
It is. It's both things. It's both of, it's both ways.
Because how am I sure you have actually come back?
Yeah,
how am I sure you're not lying?
Yes.
And how am I sure that if I stay,
it still will
You
not
won't
come
repeat
back.
what it is,
Yeah.
whatever it is you're doing.
So, but you don't know to until you stay, right? And you're not even in the mindset. You're not in the best frame of mind to say.
So is it
Let's
possible,
work.
like Sergio mentioned something, Sergio said like a lot of marriages, you just have them, they're just cohabiting, they're just co-tenants in the marriage, you know, they're just answering husband and wife. Is it possible that it has gotten to that point or something else? It's not only just gaslighting and manipulation.
Yeah, because gaslighting and manipulation will breed other things. It will breed contempt, it will breed hatred, it will breed having the other party to go outside and look for comfort, look for somebody who would listen, somebody who will build them up, somebody who will say, that will make them feel good. You know, it's just human nature. And eventually, when the person drifts away, that's when, you can't come back from that. And it will surprise you to know that the other person will now grow to the point and discover that, I'm waiting how they do no good. Oh. The next person that
they're not nice to that person.
they've learned, they've grown, they've retraced their step.
And that person will not mess them up.
It's a whole circle of.
Sometimes it's really sad because I think about it and I'm like, okay, so you say you're gaslighting and you're acting this way out of fear. Fear. So why are you doing something that you know you're not able to own up to?
That's human nature now. Human nature at the purest form is to deny. From Adam to Cain to to David. Every action that you've done that deserves a consequence, that deserves correction, that deserves retribution, you always want to run away from it. That's why I said it, that the people that take responsibility, they've attained a higher level of self-consciousness and awareness, and they're able to deal with issues, because the purest form of is to say,
Not be me.
I don't want to take responsibility, even though I know that what I do wrong, even though I know that I'm not supposed to be doing it, but I've done it. But the repercussion that comes from it, let it go to another person.
There's somebody else. Sergio, so what do you think is the solution to this? The gaslighting, the narcissist behavior, and
from both parties, I'd like to hear, how does the person that they are gaslighting
yes,
react?
So the gaslighting, we already know is dangerous in relationship because it leads to divorce and all that. And like Sheyi said, it usually would lead to separation. Now, at some point, one person realizes that, what I'm doing is wrong, and the other person is not able to heal from what he or she has experienced. So basically, with you as a lawyer and a counselor, how do you advise people navigate this?
Okay, first of all, I do not think that dissolution of marriage because of gaslighting is even as dangerous as staying on to a marriage where there's consistent and constant gaslighting and manipulation. Because for want of better words, let's call one the gaslighter and the other one the one receiving gaslighting. The gaslighter gets to a point where his constant quest to manipulate would now become counterproductive, and then he will be in serious danger. To the extent that he will no longer be able to manipulate. And then once they are not able to manipulate, they become weakened. And sometimes they tend to seek other approach, which could become even physical violence and all of that. Now, without directing this to any of the gender, it could be either of them. But yes, if you're in a relationship where you have or repentant gaslighting or repeated gaslighter, for want of just using the word gaslighting loosely now, the best thing is to have a talk with the person and let the person realize that, look, I know this game you're playing, and I am no longer willing or able to continue in this state. Now, if you ask me, if the person is not willing to repent or stop his gaslighting or manipulative acts, I would ask you to move out of that relationship. Because, like I said from the beginning, everything negative is progressional. You start by unwillingness to take responsibility for an act. You graduate into gaslighting. Then from there to the narcissistic tendency. Then from there, because your primary intention is to manipulate, you will never have an end to that high. You manipulate to the point where the person you are manipulating either becomes numb or becomes incapable of independent evaluation of events, and it becomes a zombie or a dummy in your hands. Next thing you get is a depressed spouse, and then maybe death. So if you do not leave that setting where you are constantly manipulated, you end up somewhere in the grave or end up becoming a human being that you cannot relate with. And then you may not be physically dead, but you could be emotionally and psychologically dead.
Okay, but it is not always, it doesn't always end like that. So there are scenarios where you gaslight and gaslight and gaslight, and the person now starts to give you the reverse psychology pattern. Now because I just sometimes they even get confused in their own game because the person is not reacting.
No, it doesn't work that way. You see, if you meet a real gaslighter, the moment he or she is no longer able to manipulate you, they choose a more violent approach to get that result because their high, their kick is the ability to manipulate. So once you do not give them that that feel good thing, they begin to look for options. As a matter of fact, a gaslighter may even be the one that will leave the marriage because he or she is no longer able to gaslight.
Oh, better. Okay, so Bosajo, basically what we're advising that if you're in a relationship and you know that you're being gaslighted, the best thing to do if there's no repentance is to leave the marriage or to end the relationship because it's not going to go anywhere.
It won't go
anywhere. One person has to suffer because if that person is not repentant of whatever the person is doing and you can't continue to receive the whole gaslighting and attitude, then that means the relationship is not working. So that means you have to leave. So that's the danger of gaslighting in relationship is that it leads to separation or divorce or death.
Or depression or serious mental ailments.
Or the gaslighted
that you never be able to recover from.
Oh, can gaslight, can the gaslighted poison? Oh, yes, because out of anger, yes. So, but that's the thing, men don't know these things.
Franca, it is not even it's not act of anger. Now, the quest for liberation, when you are gaslighted consistently, and then you are looking for an exit, and then they are frustrating. Okay, let me play it. Let me give us a broader understanding.
Sergio, we have 1 minute.
Okay, good night then.
Okay, so Sergio, you're coming on Friday, so we'll touch this. We'll come back to this. I think we're going to have our topic for Friday is related to this. Okay, so Sheyi, we got to go. I'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Bye. See you tomorrow.